Shields up, Iron Breakers. Rurikhan here, coming at you with another episode of the Kast. As you guys can tell, I'm here with FightinCowboy. How are you doing, dude?
I'm alive. I'm tired today.
Jesus Christ.
We discussed it. It's also, so this is like a very last minute planned podcast, but I was up till 5 trying to finish my review for Rebirth, and not because I was slacking or anything, but because I wanted to try and beat it. And the game just keeps going and going and going, and not in a bad way, but I'm at like 75 hours and I reached the point where you're like kind of getting towards the end and you get back to the saucer and like the world is fully opened up. There's new side quests popping up, and it was the equivalent of like, all right, I'm almost at the end. And the game's like, you are, but here's 15 more hours of content that you could enjoy. And I'm like, motherfucker, I'm just doing the review. So got the review done. Now I'm just going to chill and enjoy the rest of it, but
damn. So
it was like a rough 24 hours.
So you've been very busy over the last couple of weeks, I take it. You've been playing so many games this year, dude. Is 2024 not just an amazing friggin' year for gaming? It is going off so far. Well, an amazing year for gamers, not so much for folks in the industry, to be fair. Folks in the industry have it rough, but I mean the thing is, unfortunately, that's not something that is new, and it friggin' sucks to think about it that way, because you're constantly hearing about massive layoffs in every big corporation. It really sucks. That is a problem. But like for gamers, dude, we're eating friggin' good. It is insanity. Gamers are eating good for sure. I mean, you know, start of the year, Pal World, Enshrouded. I think you've played all of these. Pal World, Enshrouded. What else? Talk to me. Like I'm even lost at this point with all of the good stuff.
I'm gonna go to playlists. So
I'm sure you got like 50 of them.
This year, well, so I started the year doing Outer Wilds, which was phenomenal.
Oh, I haven't gotten around to that yet.
You need to do it.
I know, but it's like, how can I even do it? Do you realize that yesterday I did like 4 live streams just to try and keep up with what was happening?
Honestly, just play it on your own. Make it a at-home thing. Do it with your kids. Your kids will probably get a kick out of that game.
Might have to do that.
Prince of Persia: Lost Crown, that was phenomenal. Pal World was a blast. I did a Return to World, so I worked through that. Enshrouded. I didn't have a game on deck, so I went back and played The Surge. Had a couple indie showcases, Granblue Fantasy Relink, Banishers, Rebirth.
By the way, I gotta ask you, how did you like Granblue Fantasy Relink? Because I remember I was the one that kind of pushed you to play that. I liked it, but so I stopped streaming it for 2 reasons. One, I had my trip coming up, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? I'm on the plane for 6 hours. And I'm like, I could wait to get back to stream Granblue, or I could say, fuck y'all, I'm playing this on Steam Deck. And I opted for fuck y'all, I'm playing this on Steam Deck. So I got through the game. I've played it. I had a blast with it. I'm currently at Endgame, and I'm kind of on I'm right after Id is like formally in the party, and it's like, I'll be the new, you know, that awkward scene where he's like, I will be the protector. And they're like, okay, buddy, calm down. Fix it.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Fix It. Like, so I got a bit to do still, obviously, but then Rebirth came in, and obviously we have, you know, Dogma and Ronin on deck, so it's kind of sidelined. But while I was streaming it, it was the weirdest fucking thing. My chat would not scroll while I was streaming it. Like, chat would scroll, but text wouldn't populate, and then when I paused the game, all the text would pop in. So there was something going on with the way they coded the PC version, where it was like fighting the browser for the resource needed to scroll chat. And so I would be like playing and I'm like, chat's not moving. And then I would like pause to go into the inventory, and it would be like 100 comments would pop in, and I'm like, yeah, this makes this kind of a hard game to stream, because if I can't interact with you. So yeah, that was the push. That was like, fuck it, this is now a Steam Deck game, which it plays great on Steam Deck. My main is, well, I started with Rosetta, and then I swapped to Katana Mami.
Narmaya. Like, listen, you and everybody else that plays that game, okay? Let me tell you, if anybody wants to make a guide, make a Narmaya guide. It'll be like hundreds of thousands of impressions, because everybody will watch Narmaya stuff. Jesus.
She's good. And her gameplay loop is really satisfying.
I think the thing is, a lot of people are just down bad. They just want her assets. She's got good, very good
massive
assets.
Hugely inflated assets.
Yes, indeed.
But yeah, I mean, Granblue was good. So, and then Banishers obviously just wrapped that up. That game was a ride.
Damn. Dude,
it wasn't the best game of the year, but like Banishers, I would say Banishers has been one of the most morally gray games that I've played in a very long time.
Interesting.
Like, you are just constantly met with choices where it's like, nobody gets to win here. What are you gonna do? And you're like, fuck. All right, I guess I'll rip your soul out. Like, I don't really want to.
Whoops. It's like, hey.
Like, I guess without, I don't want to spoil much, but just to give it a good idea, there's like there's this guy that's haunted, and you find out that he's haunted by an old war buddy, and the war buddy is he doesn't realize he's haunting him. He's trying to like protect him, and the dude, he just wants to die, but he's haunted by this guy who's like, no, you need to live on. For, I died, you don't get to die, you need to live on. And he's like, no, I just want this pain to be done. And it's like, fuck, man, like, this is some, like, do you just banish the ghost and be like, sorry, you're dead, stay away, and force the dude to keep on living with misery and knowing that, he's the lone survivor and was partially responsible for the death of his friends? Or do you give him what he wants and rip his soul out and, basically tell the ghost, fuck off, he's dying too? Like, there's just a lot of really messed up choices you're forced to make. And then to add to it, the choices you make contribute towards the end of the game, depending on whether you were blaming the humans or banishing ghosts or ascending ghosts. That ties into the ending you get. So you may be like working towards an ending and be like, oh, I want to go for like the banish ending. I'm going to banish as many as possible. And then you get one where it's like, the ghost ain't the problem, the human is the problem. The human is a degenerate that killed the ghost. Like, do not banish. This person deserves to be sent to hell, not the ghost. And so then you have this double moral dilemma where you're like, I kind of need to do this to get the ending, but you're an asshole. Is there a way to kill both of you?
That sounds interesting. Like that game, I still want to play it at some point. But again, it's just the amount of good stuff that we have is absolutely
There's
insane.
So much right now. Yeah.
Have you played Helldivers 2, just out of curiosity?
I have. I've only played it, I think, twice so far. My thing with Helldivers is if I'm playing it, I wanna play it with the boys. I want to get a gang of people together. And
it's that like, kind of game.
Yeah. And when you're in your 30s, getting 3 of your friends to gather, it's like herding cats, dude. Everyone's just so busy. So we've only played twice so far.
Wait till you get to your 40s. Just wait. It gets so much better.
I bet. So yeah, it's been hard to try and play it. Oh yeah, I did Suicide Squad 2. I did a little bit of Skull and Bones. I don't think I made playlists for them. I should probably do that.
Oh yeah, I'm curious. How is Skull and Bones, like, real quick? Is that any good? Because like all I hear is bad things.
I gave it a 3 out of 5. The game has some serious issues. My problem with Skull and Bones is that there's so much meme discussion, like, Lamau, first quadruple A game. You know, like, 10-year development, 10-year development.
The thing is, at some point, you have to ask, okay? The dude runs Ubisoft.
Yeah, well, I mean,
how are you so dumb that you're going to say something so stupid? How can you just say some random dumb shit? I mean, oh yeah, it's worth $70 because our game is quadruple A. It's like, come on, bro.
Yeah, it was absolutely just dumb. And I mean, that's, to be fair, par for the course for most CEOs. I mean, I don't know any CEOs that in the game industry. I mean, Phil Spencer usually seems pretty grounded, but for the most part, it's always CEOs saying dumb shit. But so anyway, the problem is that there's so many people that are hung up on the quadruple A comment and it's had 10 years of development time, it should be better, when it was developmental hell. So it was probably about 2 years of active development. But there's so many people caught up on that all the actual criticisms with the game aren't getting through the chafe. There's just like blah, 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 blah. And then like I'm down here like, hey, there's some very problematic things in the end game loop. Let's discuss this. And it's just going up and it's getting bounced back down against a wall of quadruple A. So yeah, the game, I mean, I had fun. I got 50 hours out of it. I had a blast sailing around. It very big, Black Flag vibes with the sailing. I went into it expecting to sail. I didn't expect to board or get into sword fights. I didn't want that. So it was what I wanted. But once you get into the end game, speed becomes king. So there's like one ship that, if you don't have that ship, good luck trying to catch somebody. They're going to run away from you or they're going to hunt you down. And then the end game grind, there's no content ultimately. The end game grind is like you put money into an area and then it slowly creates gold coins for you. And then you pick up the gold coins to buy the rare gear. And you're basically just sailing from location to location, claiming gold coins. It's like a FedEx delivery driver simulator. There's like a legendary ghost ship. There's like a few raids. But for being a live service game, the end game offering is incredibly poor at the moment. So right now, I gave it a 3 out of 5. Depending on season 1, that might drop down to a 2 out of 5. They need to, when season 1 drops in like a week and it's like, hey, here's our end game, here's our seasonal offering. Like, let's see it. You're supposed to be a live service game. You need to come in fucking swinging, because right now right now I log on to Skull and Bones. I sail 100 meters from the base. I pick up my gold. I sail 100 meters back. And then I log off.
You're doing the what we usually call maintenance mode for MMORPGs. Yeah. You're just doing like your basic dailies or whatever to collect resources. That kind of sucks. It kind of sucks that for a game that is coming out in 2024, that even is like the thing, right? Where it's, oh yeah, our end game, you're gonna log in, get your login bonus, and it's like, bro, no, just no. Like, there are so many good games that came out this year. You can't just do the same old thing and coast by. It's just not going to happen. They needed to bring their A game. The thing was, though, I did tune into some of your streams because I was curious about it, and I was like, it reminded me a little bit of an Elite Dangerous, but at sea.
Yes, very much. That's somebody made that comparison in stream, and I was like, this is the most apt comparison, because the loop in Elite Dangerous towards the end where you're like, okay, let me grab my trade goods, go over here. Yeah. Let me go over here, and very similar gameplay loop, which, as like an old gamer dude, like there is something relaxing about that. Where you're like, I'm just gonna get my shit, I'm gonna sail, maybe have a beer on the side, have some music on, like it has that vibe. The trucking mentality of just like going around ferrying things. Yeah. But once you are past that and you're like, all right, I'm ready to fight, I'm ready to do some content, there's nothing. There's PvP, but PvP has some big fundamental problems as well. Like, for example, there will be there's like a map that'll spawn, and whoever claims the map and gets over to the area with it gets the legendary chest, which usually has loot that levels up with your character, which is nice. So like at the start, like if you're a tier 2 ship, you're going to find some tier 3 or tier 4 shit in it, which is cool, very worth going for. And once you're at the very end, you're going to find high-end shit, the shit you usually need to farm the gold coins for. So that's cool and all. I like that. But the problem is people can join into the event. You're starting here on the map. You got to get over here. They'll see you sailing and they go, oh, okay. And they just fast travel over there and then they wait for you. So you can just hop around in PvP. People can join at the like I had one. I logged onto the server and I saw this dude was almost at destination. And I was like, oh, dope. And I just joined the event, fast traveled right on over to the destination, killed him, grabbed the treasure and turned it in, which, it's kind of bullshit. Like, I should have, if I wasn't at the event at the start, I shouldn't be able to show up late to the contest, sucker punch him, and then win. The craziest one, dude, we were doing one the other day. It was similar thing. What somebody did. So I almost had this guy killed. He drops the treasure map, and I'm like, I don't care. I'm going to finish him anyway. Drops the treasure map, exits out of the PvP event. That unflags him on the spot. He heals up, keeps following my ship, stays with me while I'm fighting off other people still in the PvP event, and then when I get low enough, rejoins the PvP event, kills me, takes it, and starts running again. I'm like, that's some fuckery. Imagine playing World of Warcraft and someone is just following you, deciding the split second they're gonna flag and kill you, and then be like, nope, PvP off, you can't hit me now. Like, that's the type of bullshit going on. But nobody's talking about that because it's all quadruple A. So like, I had fun playing it. There's something there that has potential, but they got to get their shit together because some of this stuff is fucking egregious right now.
Oh man. I don't know if they're getting their stuff together. It's kind of like the same thing. You were talking about Suicide Squad. Did you like that one? Because like these are the two games that I feel dominate the conversation in a lot of ways. Because you know how the algorithm just kind of promotes negativity, so you're constantly getting bombarded. Like the amount of videos that I see, and I don't even follow any of those games because I was not interested in Skull and Bones, and I was not interested in Suicide Squad, and that's all that's on my feed. It's like Suicide Squad this and woke that and friggin' bad ships, and I was like, dude, I don't care. Like why are we talking about like friggin' Helldivers more or Enshrouded? Enshrouded was so little talked about. Like I want to hear more about Enshrouded.
To be fair, Enshrouded got just overshadowed by Palworld. It released right on the tails of that, which is
like I messaged the team that is doing PR for them, and I actually asked like, hey, if there's somebody from them that wants to come and talk to me on a podcast, I'd love to do that. Because I actually want to ask them stuff about the game, but also ask them if they feel like Palworld was a negative or a positive. Because I'll tell you what, I wouldn't have tried Enshrouded if it wasn't for Palworld. Because I've been convinced that I don't like survival games. And the reason is because a lot of survival games is like, oh, you need to eat. You need to drink. You need to do the. You have like 50 different chores that you got to do just to survive, right? And I was like, well, I understand it's a survival game. Maybe I just don't like these games. And then I played Palworld, and I was like, all you got to do is eat, and that's it. That there's one thing, and you can just have like infinite berries, and you're good to go. And I was like, oh, this is not so bad. And then you go to Enshrouded, it's like you don't even have to eat. Eat is just a buff, okay?
Eating is just extra if you feel like it. You
extra,
don't need to worry about
which I hear is the same thing in Valheim. And when I was playing Enshrouded, I was like, bro, I love this. This game's awesome. This is really cool. So I had a blast. But I almost feel like not enough people spoke about it. But they still sold 1 million copies. They had, I think, 150,000 concurrents or something like that. It was very impressive.
Yeah, it did pretty well.
Yeah.
I mean, I had fun with Enshrouded. I just hit, the problem with early access is it's pretty easy to hit that end. Like I did the same thing with Palworld. I played Palworld. I had a blast with it.
Yeah, see that's the reason why it didn't hit end on any of those games. I'm like, I'll play a little bit now and maybe I'll check it out later.
Yeah, I got people are like, you gonna play more Palworld? I'm like, and do what? I beat the gyms. I got all the pals. I made the super base. I got the rocket launcher. Like I'm at the end. That's it. There's nothing else. And Enshrouded, I didn't quite get to the end. I wrapped up around level 20. It goes a little bit higher.
Yeah, I think you can go like to 50 or something. I don't know.
I want to say it's 25 or 30, but Enshrouded, okay. I think Enshrouded right now suffers from just enemy variety because I think it situates itself on that like, hey, open world survival, but look at our big combat tree, look at all these different perks you can get and all the exploring, which I'm a fan of, but then it's like you have, your ghosts, your zombies, your skeletons, and your raiders, and that's basically it. And it's like, all right, I've been killing the same 4 enemies for 20 hours now. I think it's time to move on from this. Suicide Squad was all right. Suicide Squad had a fun story. I played it for the story. I don't have the time to really invest in the end game there, especially right now with everything that's coming out.
Yeah.
So I didn't even really check the end game at all. But I had a fun time playing the story. I played the shark dude just running around. He had a very Drax-like humor. So very very dry and like just making comments that show like a complete lack of understanding of the situation. I find that type of humor very funny.
For people, for people that know who
big dumb guy humor.
Yeah. But for people who don't know who Drax is, Guardians of the Galaxy, blue guy played by what's his name? I forget his name. The wrestler.
Dave Bautista.
Batista. Yeah, Batista is played by Batista. So yeah. But yeah, that is a fun type of humor. I don't know. I feel like I just saw so many videos of people getting upset about that game, and I was like, bro, there's 1 million different games to play, and you guys are just like getting super upset over this one game.
Thousands of flavors, and you chose to be salty.
Yeah, it's just been interesting. I think it's important to call out, when there's bad stuff happening in the industry for sure, but you call it out and then you move on. And people are like, no, I'm gonna keep. This is bad. I'm gonna keep bad, very bad. I was like, okay. Fine. I've been guilty of doing that at times too. I get it. Maybe I'm just not that into Arkham universe as other people. So whatever. But moving on to better news. So we got an announcement. I believe yesterday was Wednesday. So we got the announcement on Tuesday night. Yeah. I was walking my dog. It was like super late. I open up Twitter and I was like, oh, there's DLC trailer tomorrow. I was like, crap, I had my whole day planned out with 3 live streams. Now I'm going to put in another live stream on top of that. It'll be great. I'll put you right next to the Nintendo Direct. Right after that, I'll go and I'll watch Elden Ring. And it was interesting because you said you weren't even going to cover it. You're like, no,
so when I same thing. I was getting ready for bed and I saw it and was like, bro, like, this is 9 a.m. for me. The work day is already going. I had meetings that were already planned. And, it's kind of hard to be like, hey, like, it was after hours already. So I was like, can I even get out of this meeting? What do I do? And finally I was like, fuck it. This is the main job. The other job's part-time. Shit comes up. So I hopped online. I put in 30 minutes of leave. I was like, I'm just going to stream 15 minutes before the trailer goes off to discuss my expectations, watch the trailer, discuss my thoughts. I'll get back to the work day. And it worked out. But I was planning, I was like, I'll just watch it afterwards. And then I was like, no, fuck this. This is Elden Ring DLC. This does not matter. You are the part-time job now. You can wait. So that worked out quite well. Because the video went fucking trending, which is cool.
Yeah, I saw it. I mean, I saw it the day of. That was like your record of the concurrent viewership that you had?
I think so. I might have had... Some of the Sony Directs have gotten insanely high numbers. I think one might have been like 30,000 at one point.
Damn.
But that for a singular game, that would be the highest outside of like being on Twitch front page or something.
Yeah. It was insane to me because I remember at one point I was checking streams or whatever, and I looked over your stream real quick, and I was like, he's got 7,000 people, right? What the frack is going on, dude?
That's that was, and then I noticed at the end just how high it had climbed. It just fucking,
it blew the crap up. That was really cool to see. I was just like super happy. That's amazing. Good job.
Yeah, it was pretty. Yeah, because you don't. Those kind of streams are like fucking, Lyric, Asmongold, the Doc. Like, you're one of the top like 10 streamers is where you see those types of numbers usually. So even for a brief moment, it was cool to see that many people in the chat.
How was the chat experience like? Because usually what I tend to find is whenever there's a big event, like usually with me would be the Monster Hunter Directs. Those sometimes climb really high. I think you remember when Rise had version, I don't know if it was 2.0 or 3.0, which was when they made like a huge update to the end game and whatnot. And during one of those, I crossed like damn near 6,000 people, and I was like, what the hell is going on? This is insane. And and usually what happens in those situations is you start attracting people that are just looking for popular streams. And so just like, game's bad. I don't like it. This is a bad game. It's like, did you get a lot of those? I bet you got a ton of those, no?
I honestly, I didn't even look at chat almost. Like once the trailer started, my eyes were glued to here. That was it. I was like, I would like a glance at them like, oh my God, did you see that? And then just right back to it. Yeah. But I don't know. There was a little bit of discussion after the fact, but the thing is, it was such a short and sweet stream because I had to get back to work. I didn't really get to like engage with it. But I think if like launch comes around and it's like that, I'll probably end up going like member only or something. Just because there's a point where you're not even interacting with chat. It's just an endless wall of text that keeps scrolling.
Yeah, it does make. I mean, I think YouTube now also has slow mode, if I'm not mistaken. So you can also do that. That makes
either slow mode or put on member only or something, and one of those would be fine.
Yeah, because stuff does get insane. But like one of the first things that people started talking about immediately after the thing was like $40. $40? That's a lot of money, because I guess most people are expecting like 15, 20 bones, something like that. Like, what's your thoughts on the price point?
For $40, I expect a beefy fucking DLC.
It is beefy.
The thing is, I don't like. I look at it. You know, we're looking at price. For $40, you could get Power World. Power World, I got 50 hours out of. I would be genuinely shocked if I don't get at least 50 hours out of Elden Ring DLC. Like base game Elden Ring.
You and me will get 50 hours because we're creating content and exploring.
Just Steam alone, I have 721 hours played on Elden Ring. And then there's also the time spent on PlayStation and Xbox. So that DLC, I'm getting 100, even if I wasn't creating content, you know, trying out different builds, exploring, I probably would get 100 hours out of it. I'm fine with $40 at 100 hours. But I'm also, we had this talk the other day on a stream, someone, you know, because everyone always wants to ask, is this game worth it? And it really depends where you're at in the point of your life, because, you know, I feel like the people that are asking that question are still at that, like, fresh into adulthood. You're broke as fuck. You're trying to, like, you know, you're finding the couches, the used couches on Marketplace or Craigslist or whatever, and they're not at that point where, you know, like, as an adult, you know, I mean, I don't know if y'all have Home Depots over there in Portugal, but, you know, if you go to the hardware store to buy something for your house, you're probably not leaving without spending $100. That's like the minimum.
Easily.
Like, yeah, that's it. You know, you want to get some work done. You got to get your furnace replaced or something. That's $4 or $5 grand probably.
Nowadays, even just going to, like, if I need to go grocery shopping, like, it's a couple of $100. Yeah, I mean, maybe not a couple of hundred. And in here, usually it will be like 80 euros to 100 euros, depending on probably 2 weeks of groceries, give or take. It's like, it's 100 euro. It's like, you're going to grocery shopping, you're coming out of there a lot poorer. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, childcare, you can spend $1,000 a month on easy. But so, like, when you're at that point, you know, when I see something's $40, I'm like, cool. That's cheaper than lunch was today. But when you're still, like, you know, a fresh adult and you don't have income like that, it seems like a lot of money. So I understand where people are coming from, but at the end of the day, I don't ever complain about prices of games, because I'm just like, you know, I look at what games could cost if we accounted for inflation and shit. Like,
I don't want to open that can of worms, dude. Like, you and me have very different opinions on that. We're very different.
I don't know. I don't complain about game prices. Well, because my thing is, you know, you want to go to, let's say you and your wife want to go to the movies. Tickets, let's say you get a matinee for the tickets, probably about $15 each. Like, that's $30 right there.
If
then
I'm
you're
going
to get some popcorn and drinks, that's going to be another $15.
Like, you don't even have to go there. You don't even have to go there, because if I'm going out with the wife, I already know she wants to go get sushi, and, you know, the sushi place that we go to, that's going to set us back about 50 bones, easy. Yeah, because it's a good sushi place, right? So whenever I have enough time and we actually are okay, we're going to go out, it's like, I already know minimum the sushi meal, it's around 50 bones. So yeah, you know.
But that's the thing. That's one meal that you're going to eat and then shit out, and then you're going to forget all about it. Versus a game that you're probably, at bare minimum, you're going to get 20 to 30 hours of enjoyment out of it. But games are scrutinized for their price, despite, like if we were to look at a metric of entertainment time per dollar spent, games are incredibly high on the spectrum. Like, God forbid trying to go to a concert. These days, I don't know what it's like over in Europe, but, like, fuck, dude, I was looking at some tickets for, like, a comedian and, like, seats that were, like, kind of midsection. It would have cost about $700 for me and my wife to go see this show. Concert tickets, who
the hell is the comedian? Eddie Murphy? Like, well, what the hell's going on?
No, just some dude that I'd seen some stuff and thought he was funny. Those are just, like, the venue prices.
Holy crap!
You want to go to fucking, you know, a sporting event? Shit's expensive. You want to go to fucking concerts? Shit's expensive. Everything's fucking expensive. If you're broke, buy a book. If you're that broke, buy a book. Read the letters.
No, but, like, to me, when it comes to the price, I do still scrutinize some prices. Not for me, because, you know, I can afford it's work. It's whatever. But, like, for instance, you look at Diablo. I'm going to badmouth Diablo 4's price. I am. And it's not even because of what we ended up getting at the end. I'm going to scrutinize it at the beginning because I'm like, this is a little bit too expensive. And on top of it, you're selling early access, 3 days of early access and all of this other bullshit stuff that I like.
And your premium currency and your battle passes and
all
your
of that.
loot box. Yeah.
The battle pass, which they stole from me, by the way. They robbed me.
I do think any game that takes a model of seasonal content and battle passes and loot boxes, I don't think it should be more expensive than $30 tops.
Exactly.
I agree. If your game is priced in at that $70, that typical AAA price tag, it should be a fully fledged game. If you're doing a battle pass, that shit better be fucking free. The loot in the game better be earnable. You shouldn't. I think that is where I would draw my line.
See, but
if you're charging
exactly
full game price, I expect full game, not game with a bunch of micro bullshit going on that I have to pay extra for.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. So in some situations I do scrutinize, but when it comes to From Software, and people might even call me because I've heard this one before. Oh, those From Software fanboys. So like, yes, that's me. 1,000,000%.
Hey. What? We're called from softies. Okay.
I have no idea why you would say that, because whenever From Software releases something, I just get hard.
But no, I mean, the thing is, From Software, if you go down a bucket list of studios, there are very, very extremely few. Maybe besides them, I can't really think of many off the top of my head, to be honest. There are a few studios that have earned that goodwill. Like when FromSoft charges $40, I know I'm about to get a banger, an absolute banger. Exactly. I have no question about it. And if they had said this DLC is 70, I would have been like, boy, this is about to be Elden Ring 2.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have even questioned the price. I would have just been like, Elden Ring 2 is essentially, it's going to be a whole new fucking game. That's what I would have expected from them.
But that's exactly the point. To me, it's always about, okay, what is the company that is asking this money from me? And From Software, I can easily say, I have never bought. So, I mean, for starters, nowadays we don't even buy it. We get codes from Bandai Namco, right? But even back in the day, and even if I was buying this stuff, it's like I've never bought something from Software that I felt like I did not get my money's worth. Not once. Not once. I can go out and say it was all I did. Even though, like, I was not the biggest fan of Ring City, as people know. That's still okay. That's fine.
Ring City was awesome. You were insane.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm insane. It's all good. You know that I spoke with, you know who A German Spy is? Franz?
Yeah.
I spoke with him and he was like, "Nah, that DLC's garbage." And I was like, "Thank you."
You were both wrong. That DLC is
that's perfectly fine. That's acceptable. But anyway, so 40 bones. They've even gone away from using the language of DLC. They're calling it an expansion. Like an
Which they should.
Yes.
They should. I think so. When I think of, at the end of the day, technically, yes, an expansion is downloadable content. But when I hear the term expansion, I think this is a big step for the game. Like when I think old school Diablo, I think, Lord of Destruction. That was an expansion.
Yep.
We got a new act. We got new characters. We have a revamped endgame. That's huge. When I think we added the Necromancer in, that's DLC. I think small purchases are DLC. I think whole I would like Phantom Liberty. I would consider Phantom Liberty to be an expansion. That is if you are doing a major overhaul of the game, a major expansive addition to the game, that's where I think expansion falls into. If it's just like we added a new mission, a new car, that's DLC. That's how it works in my brain, at least.
So, according to Miyazaki, because I've been seeing some of the interviews, because I want to work on a video to talk about a lot of, because there's actually a lot of details. I don't know if you've been keeping up with this stuff, but
yeah, I've been reading through some of them.
And so, this is literally the biggest DLC they've ever done, according to what Miyazaki thinks. Like, this is the biggest thing we've ever done. It is.
I mean, the DLC has its own collector's edition, so that's.
It's got a statue of Mesmer the Impaler and everything. So yeah, he says that the area is around the same size, if not bigger, than Limgrave.
Mm-hmm.
And Limgrave is friggin' massive. It is going to have more than 10 bosses, and when they say the word 10 bosses, I look at that and I think, okay, if you're bringing up 10 bosses, you're talking like 10 encounters on the level of a Margit.
Yeah, not 10 micro bosses.
Exactly.
We're talking 10 actual bosses. And then on top of that, you have all your little dungeons that you can go on into, and some of those bosses are probably in legacy dungeons, but yeah, I mean, it's going to be huge. It's going to be, and to be honest, the biggest thing I'm happy about, late June release. Oh, that's fucking good.
Bro, I was like, I think I celebrated the release date. I celebrated the release date more than the trailer, dude. I was like, yeah.
Because there's so many games coming out. And then, like, I was looking at my release schedule, and I'm like, June, July, I'm like, kind of empty. I'll figure something out. Maybe I'll play a mod. Nope, Elden Ring DLC.
Elden Ring DLC?
Which on top of it, it's usually the slowest time of the year for YouTube, so it's going to be, like, YouTube's going to be like, it's into the summer. Just kidding, bitch! Just going to take right back off. And on top of that, I mean, there's nothing I know of that I was thinking about for those months, so that gives me 2 months to dedicate.
There is one DLC. Thing. That is one thing that I'm interested in, but that thing's going to be getting pushed back. It sucks, but it is what it is.
I saw so. Oh well, I'm like I said, my 14 journey is done.
You've hung your Warrior of Light boots.
I have. I mean, I loved 14. I had a blast, but Endwalker just felt like a good time to close the chapter of the book on my Warrior of Light. It felt like a good. Like our journey has finished here,
but
which feels bad because my World of Warcraft characters, they just get abandoned and left to rot. Whereas my Warrior of Light, I'm like, you've done it, my friend. But
in World of Warcraft, you're just like, I hate you. I'm leaving you here to rot forever. Bye.
I'll be back in 6 months. Fuck you. Warrior of Light, though, we're gonna, he gets into bed and he just doesn't wake up. That's all.
Doesn't sound like a happy ending. He gets into bed and he doesn't wake up.
He gets a long-deserved rest, okay? Quiet is what he wants right now.
A long rest, all right. But yeah, so around same size or bigger than Limgrave, 10 bosses. They say legacy dungeons plural. Like legacy dungeons, you're talking about Stormveil size.
I'm guessing 3.
3 legacy dungeons?
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing an early one, a mid one, and then like the final make your way to the big baddie one.
I think there needs to be
one. But I think the third one is going to be a like smaller legacy dungeon. Like think of going through like Ashen Capital, making your way through like a couple guys, the boss, and then you're up towards the end.
I don't know how many there are going to be, but I think there needs to be one that is kind of like hidden. There's going to be one that is hidden, most likely, that is going to be off the beaten path, and that one. I mean,
they confirmed there's going to be something on par with Millennia that will be optional.
Exactly.
So it won't be Mesmer.
The hidden one is going to be that secret boss that is going to beat the crap out of everybody. Enjoy.
Yeah, Mesmer looks badass, but he's our Radagon of this game, I think.
Yeah. So it's basically going to be something where you're going to get Let Me Solo Her showing up in his little panties and naked with his pot in his head, and he's going to be soloing the secret boss.
Have you decided what you're going to play first?
What do you mean? What I'm going to play first in terms of builds?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking I'm probably going to make a new character. I might even do like a whole stream of it. I don't know though, because it's gonna take a long time because it's a really long game, and I know that knowing myself, I'll want to go through and like pick up every little item and grab all of the weapons and do all that stuff. But I am probably gonna do a quality build because that's gonna enable me to use a bunch of different weapons. That's like the idea.
So I was gonna play a dragon themed build, and I did a poll in the channel, and chat was in agreement of doing an everyman build. So not just quality. I'm gonna take my main character. I'm gonna level him up to like 300. So I just hit stat caps on all the damage stat caps.
Are you
in
New Game Plus 2 at least, or are you like in normal game?
Wait, let me get there. I'm in New Game Plus, but the plan isn't to use everything simultaneously. The plan is to just have the stats so that I find a strength weapon. Cool. We're playing this like a strength build. Oh, some new int spells that are cool and a new staff. Great. Strength weapon goes back in the backpack. We'll put an Estelle's Wing on and we're playing this like an int build, which ultimately shouldn't really be that different from me just going and respecking every time I find new loot. The only difference is this way. When I find new loot, I'll be like, dope. Let me go back to the round table, upgrade it, and this next episode we're playing as Faith Man again because these new spells look badass.
That sounds like a really interesting plan.
I think it'll be a lot of fun because I mean, if you have soft caps on everything, but you're like, all right, we're playing a strength build, Renala's Moon. Like, okay, well, now you're just going all over the place. But the idea is I'm gonna limit myself so that, you know, if I'm using a faith weapon, I can use faith spells. If I'm using a strength weapon, you know, I'm using bestial sling or something. So I'm only gonna be using stuff that makes sense at the given time. But it'll just save me time from respecking so much. And because I know I'm gonna find new shit and immediately you're gonna be like, that looks cool, I want to do that. And I know that I would end up burning through like 15 larval tears every respecking constantly. And I'm like, well, that seems like it's going to be a pain in the ass to do. So every man build it is.
Thinking about stealing that idea, that sounds really fun. There's a spear that I really liked that I saw in the trailer, the one with the gravity spells or whatever it is, dude riding the warthog.
I want the shielded twin blade. That thing looked sick.
The shield weapon thing, it looked very interesting. Apparently, that's based off of a real weapon.
What I really want is the martial arts. I want the fists. That's probably going to be what I settle towards. But
that stuff was in Dark Souls 2. I remember. I forget which one of the DLCs, but it was in one of the Dark Souls 2 DLCs. You could become a martial artist using that stuff.
Yeah, they're usually fun, and it looked like you had some like borderline Sekiro Ashes of War going on with it. Which if those have similar iframes.
With the high kick, which I loved using the high kick. I remember because people would tell me the high kick is bad, and I was like, shut up. I can jump over low attacks and instantly counter. Are you insane?
And do a fuckload of damage with it.
What do you mean it's bad? Shut up.
Here comes the boss with its big wind up. Get kicked in the fucking head, bitch.
Exactly. I use that thing so much. Hell, I would use it even when there wasn't a situation for it because I was like, this shit looks cool. I like the way it looks.
What I liked about that move so much is whereas a lot of the arts in Sekiro were like time for damage. That one was situational, but it was, oh, you think you're gonna attack? I'm gonna dodge, get a fuckload of posture damage by kicking you in the head. Yep. So it was like tons of damage, but it being situational, I think, made it more fun because you were more focused on your fundamentals and then countering with a special, which I liked.
Yeah, I love that. That thing was friggin' awesome.
Because I feel like otherwise you get, you know, when your Ash of War just does damage, I think it's easy to fall into the trap of like, you know, Rivers of Blood spammers where they're just like, I'm gonna do my thingy, I'm gonna hit you with it, and it's like, but you have more than just this.
Yes.
Embrace your weapon. Be one with your weapon. Utilize this at key times.
No, just spam it, just mash it. It was the same thing with the Moonveil Katana when it first came out and it was busted beyond belief, and everybody's like, "Oh, game's so easy," and it's like, yeah. You know, but the problem is the spirits. Okay, Moonveil Katana is fine. Spirits, though, no, can't have that.
Can't wait to see new Ashen Spirits. I have my main save has all the Ashen Spirits on it too, so I don't
have a main save on PC, and this time I'm going to be playing on PC because it's like I told you, I have my new PC. I'm probably going to try to fix my.
I think I might be able to send you my save. I think you can re-sign saves, so you could sign it to your Steam profile and then just have my dude that's
I don't know if that would feel right. That would feel right, dude. I'm weird with like that stuff.
You're just living in my skin.
Yeah, it's weird, dude. I don't know.
I mean, you can go to the mirror, you can turn him into your own guy. You'll be fine.
He'll still be called Cowboy, whatever you called him, right? I don't think you get to change the name. Probably with some save editor.
You can change the name.
You can change your character's name. I thought it was only like the appearance or whatever. It's been a while since I played Elden Ring.
No, you can definitely change name because I remember people kept telling me my name was censored and it was like Unga Bunga Man. I was like, well, fuck, I gotta come up with a new name.
Unga Bunga Man is censored? That's ridiculous.
There's some weird censors in the game, but yeah.
On the topic of weapons, this was mentioned in the Famitsu interview, where Miyazaki's
weapon types.
8 new weapon types, and the dude was like, 8 new weapon types? There are already a significant number of weapons in the main game, but what specific types of weapons will be added in DLC? First, there'll be relatively orthodox directions, like large Japanese swords. Long swords win again. Who would have thought, Who would have thought? Long swords. Reverse grip swords, which we see in the trailer. More distinct and more distinctive innovative directions. For example, hand-to-hand combat, like the monks. They specifically say inspired by monks. Dueling shields, which is the twin blade shield that you were talking about. That integrates offense and defense, and then there's the throwing daggers, where all the attacks.
Yeah, I saw this. Yeah, there's some fun looking stuff coming up for sure.
Those look really good. The reverse grip swords was the ones that we saw in the trailer as well, where dude just like goes to the side, flanks the enemy, and then stabs him from behind. So but 8 new types. That's going to be insane, because if you look to the amount of types we even have right now, it's not that much more than 8. It's just we have tons of them on each. I just think it's going to be 8 new types, but you're going to have.
I have to check. I think we have like 12 or 15.
12 or 15? I think 15 is a little bit too much, because you got straight swords, curved swords, giant swords. You do have.
We have daggers, straight swords, great swords, colossal swords, thrusting swords, heavy thrusting. Curved great, katana, twin blade axe, great axe, hammer, flail, great hammer, colossal weapons, spears, great spears, halberds, reapers, whips, fists, claws, light bows, bows, great bows, crossbows, ballista, staffs, seals, torches, tools. I really hope that they fix scaling on ranged weapons. I think that was one of the big misses of Elden Ring, was that ranged weapons just didn't get proper scaling on them. And I would really like that. I would appreciate that.
You mean they deal too little damage? Because I didn't use that many ranged weapons.
Yeah, so they level up and they get stronger, but they don't. I think the highest is I could check right now. I think the highest goes up to,
because they're also adding a new one, which you've seen, that repeating crossbow that looked badass.
Yeah, so my memory's off, but the highest I remember was the black bow, which goes up to DD in strength dex, which is quite pitiful. I don't know why ranged weapons didn't get, they didn't see the typical, like, oh, this is a dex bow, this is a strength bow. They didn't get that. Like looking through the, let me look through the great bows. I'll see if one of those gets high. Yeah, Golem great bow gets up to CD. A little bit more, but yeah, the scaling is just not really there, and I don't know why that's the case. But I hope that they rework that, because I'd love to do, the idea of a bow focused playthrough on Elden Ring would be cool. I remember Femto did a big breakdown on it, that just the scaling isn't really there, and so you're basically just spamming rot arrows and bleed arrows until something's dead.
Wait, you mean Femito?
I call him Femto.
Because I've been reading, I've actually started reading Berserk, and I was like, wait, isn't Femto like one of the forms of whatever Griffith or whatever?
Yeah, I guess it is Femito.
It is Femito.
I've always just called him Femto. Yeah, because I think of the same thing. I think of Berserk. I'm like, oh, it's Femto. Yeah, I've just always called him that. I don't know.
Interesting. So another thing that they brought up was they questioned, are there new elements unique to the DLC? And this is something that I've also talked with Ratatosker about earlier today. And Miyazaki said, system-wise, there are level-up elements exclusive to the DLC. You can think of it as something similar to the attack power in Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, where there's an attack power that's only effective in the DLC's fields, separate from the traditional levels. This was prepared for the sake of freedom in challenging threats, making it easier to experience things like, this boss is tough, so let's explore elsewhere, get stronger, and then come back, even at higher levels. On the other hand, by limiting the increase in attack power, you can also experience challenging threats at a lower level. So I don't even remember, even after I looked up today in videos, I don't even remember what attack power in Sekiro is. Do you remember that?
Yes, in Sekiro, as you would kill bosses, you would basically gobble up their remembrance. and that would give you a raw boost to your attack power.
And then you can exchange that at like one of the bonfires of the game or whatever to get.
Yeah, you could get it up. You could get it up to 20. At 20, I believe it was max. And so
no, according to what I saw today, you can get up to 99.
Maybe it was 20 in base game.
I don't know.
99. I don't know. Anyway, point is, it progressively made you stronger.
Yeah.
I just remember because in New Game Plus, I think in New Game Plus, maybe I stopped at 20 because I remember in all the Get Good guides I was at 20 and people were like, "How am I supposed to do this? I have 6," and they just didn't understand the concept of New Game Plus, which was like a constant thing. But yeah, I mean that sounds good to me. I like the idea of because that also means that if your character is, I would imagine the DLC is also going to be based, your strength is based around those. So whether you're going there at level 80 or you're going in there at level 600. The damage you deal is probably going to be more relative to these upgrades that you find, which is just further evidence that every man is the build that I should be doing.
Exactly.
Use it all and hunt down my attack power to become buff.
That might be what I end up doing. Like I told you, I do have a character on PC because my first playthrough was on PC because that was the only code we were given at the time, if you remember. And like, if I have that character still, I'm just going to go farm like in Mogwin's place or whatever, and just get a bunch of runes.
He's at the very end of New Game Plus. Everything's unlocked. He just hasn't done the end. He hasn't sat on the throne basically.
Yeah.
So I'm going straight to Mog and letting her rip. Let's go.
I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing with my character as well. Just get level that sucker up to max, and boom. That might end up being what we do. Because, again, I don't know if I'll have enough time to make a whole new character because there's so many dungeons to do.
Yeah, that's the thing. Everyone was like, make a brand new character. No. This sounds so cool to me because I have my character that has all the weapons. He has all the weapons leveled. He has all the Ashen Summons. And now I get to go into a whole new area that I've never experienced with the freedom to approach it with any build style that I want at any given time. That sounds super fucking rad to me.
Could be
I find cool faith spells awesome. You know what? Let me I'm gonna change my armor up, slap on a Cypher Pata, and we're gonna be frenzy holy.
I think my PC character was even like 2 big hammers, jump attack, bonk man. It was just like bonk. I remember that's what I was doing all over the place. It was like jump, bonk, jump, bonk. It was so good. It was a really cool playstyle that they added. That was fun. But one of the other things that they've mentioned is that you know how, even though it's going to be the size of Limgrave, you know how Limgrave has a lot of negative space, empty space. This is going to have less of that. They want
Limgrave also has. Are you remembering Weeping Peninsula too? Because that's Limgrave also.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It has a lot of places. But in the middle of those places, there's a lot of like empty stuff where it's just like there's a couple of dudes there and whatever, but there's not. Yeah. There's not really dungeons.
What got me is he said the surface area is roughly larger than Limgrave.
Yeah.
And he said surface. Means probably some big old fucky underground area. And then your legacy dungeons. So
dude,
we're looking at double Limgrave essentially.
I still remember when the first time that I go down the elevator, you go down one of those elevators and you're just
wild.
Like,
this is a whole ass.
There's a whole new world
down here. Yeah.
I remember because you were ahead of me in the game, and you were like, "Bro, I just found this crazier. This is like another 30 hours of content. Like, what is going on?" You were losing your mind because I thought I was done with the game, but the game wasn't done with me.
Dude, every time I thought I was getting towards the end of Elden Ring, it was like, but what about more? What? What do you mean there's a whole new fucking region?
I can't hear you. What happened? Did you mute yourself?
Sorry, I hit my mute. But yeah, no, it never ended. It was just gonna happen all over again.
It is. I think it's gonna happen all over again. I think we're gonna have tons and tons of hours into it, and I think it's gonna be a good old time. I think it's gonna be awesome. It is going to be called the Land of Shadows, and one of the things that everybody instantly started theorizing, is this in the past? Is it in the future? It's like, no. It's happening at the same time. It's just a separate area that was separated from the world for lore reasons. I just think it was mostly because it makes it easier to develop for. If you don't have to contend with,
worry about timeline continuity, yeah.
And we need this thing in the background here when people are watching so that it makes sense and whatnot. It's like, no, it's been separated, okay? That's why there's a veil on top of it. It's because it's getting hidden from the rest of the world and whatnot. But it is all taking place in the same universe, and all of that stuff is just separated.
Yeah, I'm excited. But before we get to that, we got a lot on deck.
Yes, we do.
We got Dragon's Dogma coming up.
Dragon's Dogma 2 coming up, which is looking absolutely phenomenal. Have you been keeping up with that?
Have you decided what you're going to play yet?
So, it's like, I want to play a fighter. Because here's the interesting, I never played a fighter in the original one. I would always like instantly, oh no, I'm an assassin.
So vanilla.
Vanilla, but it's cool because it's the only one with a shield. It's the only class with a shield. I like shields. What can I say?
I'm torn between. Well, I was leaning Mystic Spearhand, but I like the changes they've made to Warrior, where you basically have greatsword tackles from Monster Hunter. Mm-hmm. Because that was Warrior's only real downside, is it was hard to get off your big shit in the original. But since I like all those things, I'm probably going to go Warfare.
See, that's the thing. Because I'm thinking fighter, but at the same time, I was also thinking, what if? Because one of the things that I did was I would always play Assassin, because Assassin has that explodey attack that you can do.
Dire Gouge.
No, it's not Dire Gouge. Is it Dire Gouge?
I forget. Dire Gouge is the one where you climb on.
No,
and
it's
just like
Blasting Powder. I think it's Blasting Powder.
Wait, Blasting Powder, didn't that come from Ranger?
I don't think it's Ranger. I think it was Assassin. I'm not 100% sure, but I remember I liked the Blasting Powder thing. But anyway, so I'm thinking, I like that. And this one, that is going to be a thief skill. So what if I played a Warfarer, and then I switch between Fighter, Thief, and potentially Mystic Spearhand or Warrior? Because from what we see in the video, it seems that the Warfarer, at least in the video, they didn't show any more than like 3 vocations at once. So I'm assuming that 3 vocations is going to be the limit. So I'd be like, okay, well, Fighter, Thief, and then Warrior or Mystic Spearhand, one of those 2.
I think there might be more, but I don't think you want to do more. So you got to think about it. So typically you get 8 actions with your class. I think they're still doing the 8 action system where, you know, you have your 4 actions and then you hit the trigger and you get 4 more. But one of those actions has to be dedicated to swapping between your classes. So you only have 7 to work with. And if you have 7 actions already swap between 3 classes, I mean, that's like one class that's full-ish. And then you're like, you know, Warrior, Greatsword, Shoulder Tackle into Big Hit, and then your Powder. Whereas if you tried to go to more classes, like, you know, well, I have Tornado from this, and I have Spear Dive from this, and I have Shield Block from this, and I have like, which, you know, very much jack of all trades, king of none type situation.
Yeah, but that's what I was thinking in terms of vocations. I'm either going to go pure vanilla fighter, or I'm going to go Warfare that as a main is fighter, but then he also has the thief for the explodey thing, and either a warrior or a mystic spearhand, depending on.
I just hope that the stat leveling system has been changed from the first game. You know how like in the first game,
I've got some bad news for you.
Is it the same?
From the gameplay that I have seen, if it's not the same, the only way that it can't be the same is if when you swap classes, they change your stats. Because
that's what I'm hoping for, because that was the big thing. Is let's say you played 40 levels as a warrior, and then you're like, you know what, I think I want to do a mage all of a sudden. Well, tough shit. Your stats are warrior stats now. You can do a mage.
The mage still works. The mage still works, because at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff comes from the gear, so it'll still work. But you'll still be in the back of your mind, especially you, because I know you got like bad OCD. You're gonna be like, look at all these friggin' wasted stat points. It's like I could be doing 5 more damage on this spell that deals 1 million damage. God damn it!
It would not be doing that much. It would be like an extra 5,000 on a spell that deals 4,000.
No, I don't think it was that big. Not base stats. I think most of it came from gear. But it's whatever. I'm saying I don't think it's that important, but I would prefer it to work like, hey, you switch classes, here's your new stats.
See, this is why we just play as Warfare, and then we have stats for everything.
No, but the Warfare has lower base stats.
Yeah,
they said
it also doesn't get but it's not going to get ultimate abilities. I don't think.
We'll see how it pans out.
How else would you balance it? If you could have, warrior ultimate, sorcerer ultimate. Do you know how like you have your like base abilities, your median abilities, your expert, and then your top tier?
Yeah.
That's likely going to be it. You're not going to get the top tier ability for your class with Warfare.
So like the same way that you had your high bolide and then you could have your grand bolide.
Yeah, I don't think you would get grand bolide. You would just have highs.
Yeah.
But I mean, if I can do grand bolide into a fucking magic archer multi-shot, whatever, high bolide into a 9-fold shot instead of a 12, I'll take it.
I mean, it could be fun. I don't know how the Warfare is going to play. You see the stuff that they're doing, but it all depends on how it actually works in. I have to play it. I have to play it to see. But again, like I said, my thing right now, the one that I want to focus on the most is Fighter. I'm going to be the most vanilla Dragon's Dogma 2 streamer of all time. Everybody like, oh, I'm going to Mystic Spearhand. I was like, I'm going to have a sword and shield. I'm going to bash people with my shield. I'm going to have a good time. It's going to be fantastic.
What are you doing for your pawn? Have you decided yet? Are you making pack mule or combat pawn?
No, it's combat pawn. I always do combat pawn. I loved.
Well, I mean, like, so remember how like weight and height dictated how much a pawn could carry.
My pawn is always going to be a dwarf, just like me. Both my pawns are going to be like short stacks.
I had a buddy who his pawn was just the biggest model he could create, and it just carried everything. He'd find stuff, send it to him. Find stuff, send it. I'm like, that's certainly one way to play the game.
Yeah, no, I like thinking of my
big chungus.
Because like when I was playing the game, my whole thing was the double dwarven playthrough. I'm a dwarf, and this is my dwarf buddy, and we're.
So do you only hire other pawns that are also dwarves?
No, because I hire other pawns that do things that I need. So my other pawn was a mage, and it's funny because people would always tell me that. Dude, your pawn is crazy. He saw a goblin and he just cast bolide, and I was like, exactly. That's what you do in a situation like that. You got to eradicate him. You can't let that goblin get away.
I haven't decided yet. I'm either going to do my pawn is either going to be like fighter tank based, just hold aggro for the party, or I might do support mage, because I feel like it was harder to find. I'm remembering back to the first game, at least. I remember I would summon mages, and I would go through hordes and hordes and hordes of mages.
There's a ton of them that suck.
Had,
there's a ton of them that suck.
So I think I'm going to make my support pawn is going to be a dedicated mage cat girl, cat mommy.
I think
and
that
she is going to have all the right spells that a mage should have. She will be flawless. She'll be like, oh, you need fire, you need holy, you need ice. I got all three. What's this? You're being CC'd? I have the thing that removes that. I also bring some CC of my own, and just in case you're getting fucked up, I got a little heal I'm going to toss out for you.
See, the thing was, when the first couple of times I played it, you're right. It was problematic to find mages, but the last couple of times I played it, people had good mages. So I don't know if we need...
I mean, I had one, but there was like, you would summon and you would just go to the leaderboard, you go to the one that was at the top, and you were like, you're the one that's set up right, come along. The rest of you, fuck off.
But it's like, what I would find is that I would often not be able to get good sorcerers, which is why I made my dude a sorcerer, because I was like, no, I want the spells that I want to use so that I know exactly what is going to happen, as opposed to these other ones that are, it's like, everybody.
I always did a more melee focused team. I had like the support mage that was very focused on spells, and then I would be like assassin or magic archer, and then I would have like a strider pawn and like a ranger's pawn. Take advantage of the elemental enchants. I mean, spells in Dragon's Dogma are absolutely insane. There's no questioning that.
Which is why
at the same time, though, they're so fucking insane that there were times where you couldn't tell what was happening on the battlefield.
That was like gorgeous.
You would be in Bitter Black Isle, and then all of a sudden there's a massive tornado on your screen, and you're like, okay.
Exactly.
I'm just gonna go fucking sit in the corner until I can see where the end. I mean, unless I'm a magic archer. In that case, I was like, wait, I got a lock-on reticle. I'm just gonna fire these arrows into there.
No, but see, that's the thing. That's why I would want to have my own, so that I could be like, okay, no miasma right now. Okay, we're just gonna get something else, so that we can see what is happening, so that we can see what we're hitting and do all of the things properly. So yeah, but I think that is going to be absolutely phenomenal. I'm looking very much forward to it. I think that's probably going to be my game of the year. Dragon's Dogma 2. Yeah.
I mean, Rebirth is pretty good.
I mean, we'll have to see. I haven't gotten to play it yet. You, on the other hand, apparently have been playing it quite a bit. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about that?
So where to start? So World, I talked a little bit about this in my review. I don't want to like just parrot everything I said, but I think a big thing is world variety is way better now. Whereas in Remake, it's just Midgar. We have the regions. We have Nibelheim and Costa del Sol and Cosmo Canyon and Gongaga Jungle. And the regions are really fun to explore. One of the things I like is each region has its own chocobo and its own thing. So like your first chocobo, it's chocobo, it runs. And then you get to your next region and it's like, oh, well, these chocobos, they can glide across water. They're like water birds. Okay, cool. And then, oh, well, these chocobos, they like big jumps. They hop off mushrooms. These chocobos, they can glide. These chocobos can do like water jets.
Are the maps really big? Because so I've played the demo yesterday. This is one of the reasons why I was up super late. And the thing to me was Junon was not that big. At least the demo version of Junon was actually felt pretty small. Personally, to me, like
I have not played the demo, but to put things in perspective, most zones to accomplish the side quests and hit all the map intel points has averaged 4 to 5 hours per zone.
I think the problem is that the area that we had in the demo, and I say the problem, I'm talking about the thing that gave me the perception that it was small, is because there's a large section of Junon that is cut off, probably. That's the vibe that I get, because otherwise, those areas are way small. It's just not that big. I don't know, there were maybe like 4 or 5 encounters of monsters that you would do, which were like, they have the crossed sword symbol, which I'm assuming is like, this is a notorious monster or whatever. But
I'm gonna boot up. I'm gonna grab a picture of my Junon and I'm gonna send it to you, and you can look and tell me if that compares to what you got to experience. Obviously, do not show this shit. This is,
what do you mean? It's a secret?
Well, no. I mean, so technically, Junon is demo, so I should be able to show this. I actually considered.
No, but I'm not going to show it. I just want to take a look at it. But it's like I do know that in the demo there was a zone where it's like you can't go any further here, and I was like, this must be big. But yeah, I did a bunch of this stuff in Junon, and one of the things that I gotta ask is, how meaningful are the side quests? Because we didn't really get to experience side quests. It was more like those combat encounters that you get to do for Mai, I think is her name. Chadley's VR, whatever. Is VR
waifu that he bickers with all the time.
Why waifu? She's way too young, dude. Stop.
It's his waifu, not my waifu. My waifu is Aerith.
Okay. Dude,
Team Aerith now.
Aerith is a beast in terms of playstyle. I only played a little bit with Aerith, but Jesus Christ, she was insane.
Yeah, Aerith is wild in this game. I love how much more personality she has, because back in the original, I didn't particularly like think much about Aerith. I was just kind of like, you're okay. And now I'm like, Aerith, fucking awesome. But that should give you an idea of Junon. Which Junon is probably one of the smaller regions.
See, that's the thing, because I think that all we had access to of Junon in the demo is, and again, this really sucks for people that are just doing the audio version, but it's like he's showing me the whole map of Junon. Do you get access to that green area up top? On the second image, a top right image that you sent me?
You run around up there a little bit, but like the big green area is just kind of grassland. You don't go up there.
Okay. Because, like, I think we only had access to the top left image that you showed me. So Cowboy sent me, like,
so that's like under Junon.
Yeah, so there's that little bit, and that's.
I mean, actually,
with
you
the
might
Chocobo.
Be able to let me see something here.
With the Chocobo Ranch.
I'm reading specific embargo stuff.
Yeah, but no, don't worry about it. It doesn't.
You can probably share it. A maximum of 30 screenshots captured from the beginning of the game to the end of Chapter 7. So yeah, that's okay. That's within embargo. I can show you up to Mount Coral. I gave you one of my 30 screenshots, Ruri. I hope you appreciate that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me adjust this so that people can. Those of you watching on video, for people on audio right now, there's a big, like, captured map. I've put it on top of my face and everything. And basically, I think the demo was just this tiny region over here. So it's like 1/3 of the map that Cowboy showed me for reference. The demo was about 1/3 of this big.
Yeah, I mean, the areas are beefy. So I will say each zone has preset, like, standard activities in each zone. Like, each zone is going to have towers you can hit. The towers will unveil more stuff. It's going to have life springs. Getting those will unveil lore about the zone. It's going to have the combat challenges. You get those, that unlocks more virtual combat challenges, and eventually a boss in the zone. It's going to have the summon crystals, which make it easier for you to fight that summon and get them as a materia. And then there's a proto relic. Proto relics are super unique per zone. Highly recommend you do all the proto relic stuff. The other stuff is just kind of, it's a little samey, but it flows fairly quick. Like, you're not spending too long going through. Side quests per zone are very diverse. The side quests in the game have been pretty good. I've had some that are funny. I've had some that are kind of depressing. Chocobo in each zone is usually going to be a unique thing. That's first priority for me. I get to a zone, I try to find the Chocobo. The biggest thing about the game, dude, the mini games. There's so many fucking mini games.
Yeah, I've noticed that on the latest trailer that they showed. I was like, bro, what is going on with all of these mini games?
The card game, Queen's Blood. So let me put things in perspective. Before we did this podcast, I was recording another episode. And, before the end of second disc of Final Fantasy, like, before you get to the temple, you make your way back to the saucer, and it's like, do whatever you want, and then you go. And I was at that point, and I was like, all right, well, I don't want to go to the saucer to trigger stuff. I'm going to wrap up the card games because new opponents popped up, and I'm getting towards the end, and there's a whole quest line involving it. And then I got up to the goon, and he's like, I'll beat you at the saucer. And I completely forgot the saucer is, like, where story shit's going down. And I went to the saucer to fight this dude, and then, like, story stuff triggered. And I'm like, no, I'm here for card games. No story. But so Queen's Blood is fucking good. Queen's Blood is a lot of fun. Like, first thing I did every time I hit a new region is I'd find the merchant. I'd be like, what booster packs do you got for me? I want some new cards.
Dude, that's like some magic level addiction from back in the day.
I know. I'm bad with card games, man. Because when you play people, if you beat them, you get a new card from them. And then there's booster packs. And then there's certain quests that will award you cards. And you can have, I think it's 5 or 6 decks on hand.
I remember in one of my many attempts to play through The Witcher, which I've never finished Witcher 3, but and the last time I tried playing through it, I remember that I would spend more time playing Gwent than actually playing the game. So I'm pretty bad.
Yeah, you'll like Queen's Blood. I think probably 6 or so hours of my Let's Play series is just me playing Queen's Blood.
Jesus Christ, that's insane.
I like yeah, the mini games are good. Chocobo racing, I did a bunch of that. Yeah, there's too many to even talk about, to be honest. Tons and tons of mini games. Combat, I'm really liking the combat now. The synergy system is super dope. It took a while to get used to it, but once it clicks, it's like a mini limit breaks.
That's the thing, because yesterday I was trying to play the game, and because I hadn't, I played a little bit of the first demo. So the first demo, I think, is the very beginning of the game when you're with Cloud.
Yeah,
and
first demo is effectively chapter 1.
Yeah, so I played the first demo, and that one is just super easy, so you don't really have to engage with those systems all that much. You can just, like, kind of mash your way through, and it's whatever. There's nothing really challenging in that thing.
Yeah.
And so I get to this one, and you're dropped off in the middle of the zone, and all your dudes are level 20 and whatever. And I was just running through, and I randomly ran into the boss that's under Junon, the flying fish thing that's in the...
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That thing just kicked my ass nonstop because he's flying, and I don't know how to play against flying enemies because, each character, then I started practicing and I learned, okay, so each character has their own thing that they can kind of do to deal with flying enemies. But the Cloud, first couple of times, I was just getting pummeled like brutally. It was disgusting.
Yeah, so Cloud, if you dodge and then hold attack down, he dashes up and he has aerial and then he can dodge. Once Tifa is up in the air, she can air dodge between stuff.
He throws like the wind projectiles.
No, that's if you're just attacking. If you hold the button, he yeets himself up to the target, and then you are fully engaged in aerial combat as Cloud.
Now, what I did was he has an ability that they gave us in the demo, which is Fire Blade or whatever.
Firebolt Blade.
Firebolt Blade, where he just jumps up, and so that's what I would do. I would do the ice, the wind things, and then as soon as I get ATB, boom, jump up there with Firebolt Blade, and I'm there. I'm good.
So there's synergy skills and synergy abilities. Your skills, you can use those at any time. They don't cost anything. Some of them are pretty, like the stronger ones have a wind up. Like Cloud, my Cloud party is Cloud, Tifa, and Yuffie. And so Tifa will give him Power Blade. Yuffie will give him Enchanted Blade.
Yeah, I didn't.
And so Cloud and he winds up and then he slams. And those I can spam them, but it's a big opening. Whereas others are really quick. Like Tifa's while Tifa will buff Cloud for Power Blade. If you're playing Tifa, Cloud will toss her up diagonally, so then she can just sit in the air and fuck stuff up. But when you use your ATB abilities, or any abilities really, not your synergy skills, but when you use other stuff that costs ATB, you get a little check. And when you get 3 of those checks on both characters, you can then do a synergy ability, which those are wild. Those are going to give you 3 ATB gauges, increase your limit, unlimited MP, massive stagger, along with like a bravery buff. Just some of them are fucking outrageous. I have one. Well, let me see, Mount Coral. All right, I'm not going to talk about. I can talk about Yuffie. I'm trying to think who I can talk about. So like Yuffie and Tifa have one where Yuffie throws out her shuriken, they both jump on it, they kick it to rev it up, and it's like bah, 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 and then they kick it and it goes boom and it rips through the enemy. That one's like a big stagger build up. I think one of the funnier ones for me is if you have Barrett and Aerith. They do this thing where they like look at each other and they're like, let's do it, it's time to lay it down, and Aerith's like, let's go, and Aerith throws on sunglasses alongside Barrett. And then Barrett's just like, and Eric's just like shooting out missiles, shooting out blasts from her thing.
I think we can actually do that one in the demo because you have both Barrett and Aerith.
Yeah, that one's a lot of fun to do.
Do those unlock like as you progress through the game, or is it just like no, you've unlocked this character, you now have the synergy ability? Because there are some characters that don't combine. Okay.
Yeah. No, each character has their own skill tree, but so you get 3 party presets. And so what you really want to do is you go into your skill tree and like if I wanted to go Barrett and Aerith, that's this way. If I want to go Barrett and Cloud, that's that way. So
how easy is it to respec?
Free, anytime. You just press a button.
Okay, good. That is good to know because I definitely want to experiment with those.
Well, not anytime. You need to be at a folio thing, but once you're there, you can just freely. It doesn't cost anything. You can just reset.
So you can just fast travel and reset whenever you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, unless fast travel is locked.
Yeah. But like the thing that I've also noticed, which I didn't really experience that much because like I also don't want. I already played the demo for almost 5 hours, and then I was like, okay, I don't want to burn myself out just playing this demo over and over. I played the demo to the point.
You only got 85 more to go.
Yeah, but it's like the thing to me was I played the demo until the point where I found what I think is probably the hardest thing to do in the demo, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do this, and then I'm done. And it was the Phoenix. You get to do the Phoenix summon in the demo.
Phoenix is all right.
I mean, look, Phoenix is my favorite summon.
Well, so all right. To be fair, I had all the things. So my Phoenix was weakened because I had all the summon crystals. I think the right now the hardest fight for me in the game is an enemy skill simulation battle. And it's against a Mind Flayer, which you can fight one of those in Junon. I don't know if it's in the demo yet.
No.
But the trick is you have to fight that and then 2 of the weird tentacle boys that were in the first demo. And the condition for victory is you need to kill the Mind Flayer before killing the tentacle boys. But the tentacle boys latch onto you and explode. So you need to somehow keep them away and keep them CC'd long enough for you to kill this Mind Flayer. And you can't just, it's a level sync mission too. So it's not like, I'll come back when I'm level 15, beat your ass. That's not an option.
No, because it's one of the VR missions, I would take it.
Mm-hmm. And I tried that for probably about 30 minutes. I've tried sleeping the other things and focusing targets on the Squid Man, on the Mind Flayer. I've tried hitting them with slow. You can't do petrify because that counts as a KO. I did just get an item that I can craft that starts the battle with limit. So I think what I might do is
just break the crap out of him.
Yeah, limit him right at the very start and try to just burst him down.
For the Phoenix, what I had to do, because again, due to the fact that you don't really go through that many tutorials in the demo, I didn't know a lot. Like the stuff that you just told me about, oh, you can keep the button pressed, cloud goes in the air. I was like, I didn't know that. So what I did was I was like, all right, so the synergy attack, not the synergy, what is it called? The synergy attack and the
synergy skills or synergy ability? Abilities are the ones you spend resource to do. Skills are just for use.
Okay, so the synergy skill between Cloud and Red 13 is he just like throws 3 orbs, and then the synergy skill with Cloud and Barret is Barret shoots and you bounce the bullets at your target.
You hit the bullets
so I was just like, Cloud just like batter up, bang, 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 just like throwing stuff at the Phoenix to fill their ATBs. Then when their ATB spills, I was just like charging them up to get their skills ready. And then I was like, okay, now let's defeat the things. The Phoenix is open. Everything on top of her, just like lay into her. Limit break, synergy, everything. Kill this thing
Jesus
fast
Christ.
before it does anything. And I did that like 3 times. At one point, one of them died. I think Red 13 died. And it was like Cloud and Barret. And I was like, no, it's just me and Barret now. It's all good. It's all good. I'm actually thinking about maining Barret. I don't know if Barret's available the whole time or not. I hope he is.
Yeah, for most of it. There's a couple sections where you're going to be forced to play.
You have to be Cloud, I assume. Yeah.
Well, or not just Cloud. There's some sections where you're forced to play like Yuffie or forced to play as Barret.
Okay.
Or like there's a section fairly early around Junon where Barret and Red break off from the group. So you have like a Cloud Tifa Aerith combo that proceeds, and then Barret and Red go through the other portion of the zone.
See, that was one of the, because I wanted to do Cloud Tifa Aerith, and I did not like that combo because I like having at least one synergy ability.
I think Aerith.
No,
Aerith,
one synergy skill,
really...
and that's ranged. And having and if you're controlling Cloud and you have Tifa and Aerith, you're screwed because they're both just like, oh, let me charge up your big wind-up attack. And I was like, what if there's a flying thing though? You know?
Yeah, I'm doing Cloud, Tifa, Yuffie, Cloud, Red, Aerith, Cloud, Barret.
Does Cloud need to always be in the party?
Until you beat the game, then you can drop him.
Okay.
But
so I'm gonna have to
Red's
Cloud in the party. Okay.
I mean, Barrett's very good. He's just very vanilla, you know, because you shoot and you overcharge. You shoot,
mean, but it's like, look, I like explosions. Barrett's got explosions. That sounds good.
He's probably been my least played only because his play style is more vanilla. But he does get some stuff that's pretty good, and he can be a pretty good tank. Later, he gets it's lifesaver. It allows him to basically take damage in place of teammates, so it makes him a very, very strong frontline choice. Red is pretty awesome once you get the vengeance gauge going because your new baseline attack.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, what the hell? When I first tried out Red's vengeance gauge, I was like, bro, this is insane. He's just like jumping up in the air, spinning. I was like,
yeah,
just
his whole attack, the on the ground spin to win AOE, that thing's insanely good.
The thing that I noticed did a ton of damage was the Starburst Ray.
Yeah,
when you fill
Starburst
them up,
Ray, even into the end of the game, that's still one of the most potent attacks. Like if I'm ever fighting stuff and it's like there's this one enemy, it's like rushing nesting dolls. It just keeps popping out little clones of itself. I'm like, Starburst, you're all fucked. All 12 of you are dead. You're all dead. Yeah, that's fun. Yuffie's probably been my favorite so far. Yuffie is she gets some insane shit. Like,
so one of the things that I noticed, and it was really weird to me, was you can use synergy skills with people that are not part of your main party.
Are you talking about backline commands?
Maybe I don't know, because it wasn't really explained to them, or maybe it was. And
so
I didn't see it.
Your synergy skills and your synergy abilities are typically only your 3-person party. However, if your other 2 teammates die, you get what's known as a backline command, which is a freebie pulling from everyone else that's not currently in the party.
And then you can do like a synergy skill with that person. So I got that because people died in the party then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, backline commands are looks like you're getting fucked up. Because even while you're fighting, on like the outskirts of the battle arena, the people that aren't in your party are combating. Yeah. And so they will, when people die, they can, you get backline commands to help you try and get through.
I thought that was neat, because I remembered that I was fighting and it was Cloud, Aerith, and Tifa. And then suddenly I see shots from Baird, and I was like, wait, what? What's going on? So they're like on the outside still supporting. I think that's a cool thing.
Yeah, the combat is just flat out better than Remake. Like in every single way. The synergy system is awesome. Backline commands are awesome. The way you go through the folio tree and pick what you want. Like there wasn't any point where I was like, well, I think Remake no. Like Cloud's moveset got expanded with aerial capabilities. Tifa got expanded with aerial capabilities. Red's a ton of fun. Yuffie's a ton of fun. Like it's just better. It's outright in every regard. It's better combat this time.
Yeah, I
Cloud
really
also gets his Punisher mode. I don't remember if it was in Remake, but there's a weapon that will upgrade your Punisher mode to become Prime mode. Which, you know how you have that attack where if you're in Punisher mode and you hold, he goes and he stabs his sword in for damage. Instead of doing that, you do like multiple heavy swings. That's very reminiscent of like Berserker Guts. He's just like whoopoo, and then he flips the sword up and goes whoopoo, and then he does like an actual front flip. He's like and it just does like fuckloads of damage and stagger build up. And so Punisher Cloud is a very potent playstyle that counterattacks the entire world.
The problem with Punisher Cloud is that if you get hit by range, you're kind of screwed. So you can only really use it against melee unless there's stuff that changes that.
That's why you have synergy skills. So when I'm in Punisher Cloud, I'll usually have either Aerith or Yuffie or somebody in the party. And my synergy skill for that is counterfire, which means anything physical coming my way is getting counter parried, and everything ranged that's coming my way is getting hit with counterfire.
Again, gotta experiment with that, because I didn't do too much with it other than just learning enough to get through the bosses.
Yeah, it took a while. I don't think the synergy system didn't really click for me until probably about June on. It takes a while to really kind of get into the rhythm of doing it constantly and all the characters. And yeah,
because when you first
game is fucking huge, man. I mean,
when you
like
first,
I said, I still have.
Go ahead.
You go ahead.
Okay, I was just gonna say that when you first start doing it, you're thinking like, oh, I'm using something to do these skills, so it's very unintuitive. Yeah. But the reality is like, no, this is just another attack. Just spam it, which is weird.
Yeah, and it takes a little bit, but the sheer amount of stuff in the game, man. Like I said, I'm at about 75 hours. I have the point I'm at. There's new side quests in every zone that have popped up. That's probably at least an hour or two to go through. There's proto relic stuff I need to finish up. There's all the saucer stuff, the date of the saucer, which I haven't gotten to, and then the end, and then post game. So just reaching the end of the game, assuming you're like going for everything you see on the map and trying to get a very complete playthrough, you're probably looking at like 90 to 100 hours. And that's excluding end game content, like post game.
Damn.
Yeah, it's fucking beefy. Like honestly, I'm up to the point I have like probably more than half my series is hour-long episodes at this point, and I don't even know if it's going to be done by the time Dogma or Ronin start. I'm at 83 episodes right now.
Holy crap!
Like I'm probably gonna have to go up to fucking 4 episodes a day, because I don't know how else I'm gonna get this whole series out. And I don't want it running into Dogma, you know?
Yeah. So when it comes to the materia, because I got to experience some of the crazy stuff. I mean, not really super crazy stuff. This is all materia that I think we saw in Remake. But like Synergy is actually working really cool, because in Remake, Synergy would actually, when I played it, because I think they changed it later, but when I played it, Synergy would actually use up ATB and mana whenever you use that. And now it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, what if I just give Aerith Synergy and Meteor, and now I just attack things and do my ATB attacks? What could go wrong? And I was just like, hey, making it rain. Just like meteors falling all over the place.
I haven't actually done much with Synergy yet, but I'll have to try that.
Dude, Synergy is insane.
There's I might do like synergy cure and have her just throw out free heals constantly.
I don't think that works, because it has to be an attack materia, so that it follows through with an attack.
Wonder if I could do synergy enemy skill.
Is it a yellow one?
Yeah.
I don't know, because like I wanted to, at one point I was like, can I do synergy, and they call it change toss or whatever, but it's gill toss. I was like, can I just do synergy and gill toss? And I don't think that worked. I was like,
there's one I like that I found pretty late. I think it was late, but the idea is anytime you do 2 commands, one after the other, you get a ATB boost for everyone else in your party, and it gets up to large eventually. So I'd be playing as Yuffie and do like big shuriken throw, and everyone else goes and their gauges fill up. And Yuffie's gauge rate is fucking insane, because she uses her ninjutsu, so you're always getting a little more bonus because you're hitting enemy weakness. She can fill up her gauges so fast. She's honestly just wow. I've had fights where everyone's died but Yuffie, and I'm just like, fuck away from me, you have no chance. Just shitting on like ball. Just they try to come, boom, ninjutsu, create my little Mog that they attack instead, and then I get more ATB, and then I'm throwing out, I'm creating a ninja clone, and then I'm just like just throwing all the shit at them. Like, Yuffie's wild.
It's almost like, I think that was what Tifa was doing back in Remake. Tifa was the kind of like the gauge filler. But I was able to fill gauge even really fast with Cloud. Like if you can get into Punisher mode, you just like boom, 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 nonstop. It goes super fast.
Well, so I think Yuffie's big advantage is she can do it from range. She can attack incredibly fast from range, so it doesn't matter if the thing is moving or running or whatever. You're getting that gauge.
That makes a difference.
Barrett fills gauge I wouldn't say fast, but very consistently Barrett's gauge will pop off. Red can get gauge pretty fast. The only downside with Red is like, you're like, hit me. Fucking hit me. I need you to hit me. So you're like waiting for attacks. You can get
vengeance, yeah.
Tifa is still top tier stagger master. Like once the target's staggered, obviously her Unbridled Fury ramps it up to like 200% damage bonus. So that's always good. Cloud is just very much good all rounder here. And then the last person I don't want to talk about right now.
Surprises. So real quick, one of the biggest complaints that people have with Remake, padding. There was way too much padding. How do you feel about the padding in this game, especially because in the first demo that we got?
What kind of padding are we referring to? Like story padding, dialogue, or
like just a lot of? For instance, there were situations where, hey, we're gonna go through this area and there's gonna be a ton of side quests to do here. And I'm not talking about good side quests. I'm talking about like, go kill 10 things over there. Go pick up 2 things over here. There's a lot of that kind of padding in that game. One example, for instance, would be in the Rebirth demo, right? There are situations where they go, the very first demo that we did, the chapter 1, go get the not material, what's it called? The Mako vacuum cleaner. You have to do that 3 times.
Yeah.
You have to do that 3 times in this 1 hour demo or whatever. I mean,
there are. I want to say maybe 3 areas total in the game where you have a padded I hate my life event like that.
Oh. 3 out of how many?
When I say areas, I mean like 15-minute sections.
Okay.
Like that. There's one I just did that the whole time I was like, I fucking hate this. I hate this so fucking much.
So in your 75 hours, less than 1 hour was spent with meaningless padding.
Yes.
You would say. Okay.
I will say there's I mean, obviously, whether or not you think a side quest is padding, I think that depends on the person.
Yeah.
Some of them you're going hunting down a person. Some of them they're like, hey, we need you to go find these things, and you're using the chocobo to sniff them out and dig them up. Some of them you're chasing people all over the place. But just like, here's some dumb bullshit that you have to do to proceed. There's very little of that. There's one I just went through. There's the one you just talked about with the vacuum stuff up. And then trying to think. I remember there was like one more that I was like, But yeah, there's not a lot of that. You're usually constantly doing stuff and running around or engaging with some mini game or quest or whatever the case is.
Okay. That's good to know.
The mini games, dude, the piano game, that one fucking got me.
I played that one on the first demo that they did, and the first time that I played it, everybody in chat was making fun of me, and I was like, dude, this is extremely unintuitive the first time that you do it. Second time around, I'm like, hey, there you go, bitches. What do you want? Huh?
Yeah, there's some songs that get pretty wild in there. You're like, it's a little rough on the thumbs here.
I feel like they could have used better inputs for that. Like you got your triggers, you got your shoulder buttons, you got your friggin' D-pad, you have faceplate buttons. There's so many buttons that you could have used. Why'd you have to go with the analog sticks? I'm not a fan of the analog sticks as an input method for it.
I think they work though, given because there's times you gotta like rotate between keys. But I mean, honestly, it's a banger game. I had very few faults with it. The faults I had, you can already see those in the demos. I think collision is a little bit goofy sometimes when you're running around the world. You're like, jump off this fucking ledge already. And then I had an issue with lighting, which you could tell in the first demo. When you like first go into a cave, it's like pitch black and then it lights up. And anytime you're going someplace dark, that's a thing. It's like, oh, your eyes need to adjust. And it's like, I get that. I don't want that. Just let me see. Let me see what's happening here. I need to wait for the eyes to adjust.
That doesn't bother me as much, to be fair. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's reaching. It was like I was playing through the game and I'm like, this is already a potential game of the year contender. There has to be something I can find that's wrong with this. Otherwise, it just looks like I'm fucking throating Square Enix. I need to at least call out something. So yeah, the lighting can be slightly fucky at times.
Just trying to come up with I need to come up with an excuse to criticize something here.
I need some type of criticism or people will bitch.
How is the performance overall?
I'm playing in quality mode and it's been just
quality. 30 FPS?
No, performance.
God, you scared me. I was
no. I am quality. Yes, high graphics quality. I am playing quality.
So 30 FPS.
I guess. I don't know. Feels fucking great though. Feels great. I haven't tried performance.
I played performance on the demo. I thought it was fine. Because the
quality looks good. I think the thing is with motion blurring, the frame limit, because a lot of the time you have this like nice little jog in the game.
Why do you have motion blur on? You can just turn it off.
I haven't fucked with the settings, man. Listen, I dove straight in and it's been 75 hours.
Turned off motion blur? Good Lord.
I'm just playing, man. I'm not even worried about settings. I'm just playing. I haven't seen my family in days. I haven't been eating. There's been Final Fantasy and
it's funny because like when I booted up the demo, that might have been literally the first thing I did. I went into settings, motion blur. We don't need that. We don't need that here.
I didn't even look at. The only thing I found in settings is there's a button that swaps L and R, and I was like, thank God, because hitting R1 to parry is awkward as fuck.
Oh my God, I need to turn that on. I need to turn that on. Like, good luck. So many times I pressed L1 and I was like, God. As a matter of fact, because I played over 200 hours of Granblue Fantasy, if anybody goes and watches like my footage of playing Final Fantasy, you'll see me constantly open up the menu because I'm trying to dodge and dodge and swap character. I was like, no, muscle memory. Why? It was so bad.
First I remapped the controller And then after that, I was looking through the settings and I noticed that, and I was like, that's fucking awesome. So I turned that on, and then I turned on the quick shortcuts, so where you can just like hold left trigger and press a face button to have your teammate do their command, versus having to like bring up the menu that pauses it. So I'm in the middle of combat. I'm just like, Cloud do braver, Cloud do braver, do this, Cloud do braver, Bear do that. I'm just clapping cheeks. But no, it's awesome. I mean, honestly, my only word of caution for people regarding Rebirth was like, make sure you have time, because it's, if you're like, oh, this looks like it'll be a quick little fun, this will be a fun little journey before I play Dragon's Dogma. Like, no, this is, especially if you're doing everything. Yeah, it's a commitment. Like, minimum, you're gonna want to do some side quests. Like, I was talking to Gene about it. He mentioned he kind of beelined the story because he wants to replay it on his own and like really dive in. So he got through the story for his review, and he said it took 36 hours for just the story. And he did like a couple proto relic things here and there, but doing everything, you're looking at almost triple that.
Damn. There's a lot of side content in there. Do the quests actually, the side quests in particular, like, what do you rate those as? Are they like more MMO side questy type stuff like what we had in Remake, or are they more elaborate? Or do we have both? Is there like a...
I'd say for the most part, probably more elaborate. Some of them I like are dynamic. Like, I found a person, they're like, well, you want my help? You got to go find a chocobo. And Cloud's like, I already have. And they're like, oh, well, damn, you're more talented than I thought you were. And it just kind of proceeded.
Oh, I like that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. There are a couple that are kind of just, MMO-ish. Like, I have one, they're like, hey, we need you to go collect a couple of these things. But so usually what I would do is when I'd get to a town, I would pick up all the side quests I could. And then that way, if there were any ones that were like, we need you to collect choco grass to make something for us, I would just gather that while I was out doing other shit, instead of like, I'm going to go out and collect grass. Like, pick it up, and then just as you come across it, you grab it while you're journeying. So I think when I would get to towns or new zones, chocobo was first priority. After that, I usually went towards towers just to unveil the map to see, what was where. And then I would try to pick up all the side quests, and that way I would focus on the world, because I'd have a lot of side quests that were like, oh, go here, and it was an area I'd already been because I had knocked out the world objectives, so I could just fast travel right over to a spot, grab what I needed, head back, turn it in. Or there'd be quests where it's like, we need you to craft this rare thing. And I would have, because I was doing the world exploration, I already had the crafting materials and the recipe, and I was just like, boop, here you go, I got it for you. But like, if you had done the side quest first, you're gonna have to figure out, well, where do we get this crafting scheme for the item creator? And then you gotta do the towers to find the spot where you can dig it up, and then you dig it up, and then you find out what parts you need.
Do the towers, are we talking like Ubisoft towers?
Kind of, yeah. They're not nearly as tedious though. You just climb up them. Sometimes you climb a rope, sometimes you climb stairs. I'd say the tower itself, there's a little battle that'll take place. So you get to the tower, beat up some dudes, climb up the tower. It takes like 30 seconds, and those will just pop off with different little areas. It basically shows you activities in the region you can do. So the other stuff to fill out like, if you look at that screenshot, how there's intel gathered, each of those little dots is something on the map that was an activity for my regional data.
Yeah, I see it. Damn. Why are there so many good games in 2024, dude?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be through it before Dogma. My concern now is just how to upload it all before Dogma. I think I'm just going to have to go.
I don't even know if I can stream it all before Dogma. Because, I'm considering that I haven't been able to get access to it or whatever. Like, I don't know. And I'm not even going to be here on release day, which kind of sucks. So I'm like starting it in March, and then I have like 20 days to stream the whole thing. Like, I don't know, maybe I can do 4 hours a day.
1, 2, 3, 4.
It's insane. 80 something episodes Cowboys got over there.
Yeah, I have it's like roughly 23 days before Dogma. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna get it. I'll be done. I just don't know what I'm gonna do upload wise, because even if I did 4 episodes a day, that's 92 total. I'm at fucking 83. I ain't beating the game in 9 more episodes.
Sounds like a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I have too much content to put out. Oh man.
Well, I need like Dogma.
What am I going to do with all this content?
Just give me like a 2-week delay on Dogma so this can wrap up, and then Ronin, give me like a 1-month delay so I can jump into that. And then we're at Elden Ring and we're good.
If you give 1 month delay to Ronin, it's going to land on top of Stellar Blade.
I mean, I'm interested in Stellar Blade, but not at the same level I'm interested in Final Fantasy, Dogma, and Ronin. Yeah. Stellar Blade is like, oh, the booty lady game. Cool. I'll play it. But like, you're lower on the list of priorities.
I think we'll be surprised. That game, I think's got potential. I think it's going to surprise us. We'll see.
I hope so, man. But most of the time, I feel like every time we see a new, mega flashy, that we've been inspired by Sekiro, it usually ends up being kind of jank. I hope it's good. I hope it's awesome, but I'm going in with no expectations. That way, if it's disappointing, I'm like, nope. Had a feeling. That way, I'm not sad.
Yep. But a lot of good stuff still coming. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is looking solid, which is good because that way we don't just have like good indie games, which is a lot of the stuff that we've been getting this year. Whereas we've had some of the AAA stuff like Skull and Bones and Suicide Squad, whatever, kind of like fall to the wayside. But it looks like Final Fantasy VII is looking solid, which is a good thing. And I think that Dragon's Dogma 2 is also going to be solid. Rise of Ronin, we'll see whenever I'm done playing Dragon's Dogma 2, which is probably going to take a while. So, yeah, we'll have to see about that one.
There's a lot. I just got to, I don't know, maybe I go like 5 episodes a day. 6 on weekends.
I don't know what to do with all this content.
I mean, but it's a problem, because too many videos does like...
Yeah, the algorithm doesn't like it.
Yeah.
Algorithm doesn't like too many videos.
It does not. Like 3 a day is the sweet spot. And all right, welcome back to another 3-hour episode. Like, you can't do that. That's might as well fucking stream it at that point. I've already decided post-game stuff I'm just going to stream because there's no way that's going to fit in, which I might even... Maybe I do just push through the story where I'm at and then stream the rest of the endgame activity. I don't know, man. I don't know. I do not know.
We'll see. So, in other topics, like I've started, this is something that we were talking about before we started the podcast. I started implementing one of your methods, which is, but I've done it differently. So whenever somebody shows up and I'm playing a game, right? I'm playing a game, somebody shows up and like, this game's bad. It is that thing that you've said that some people, they just don't have an internal monologue. They just don't talk it through. The decision making is just not there. They're going to jump into a random stream of a game they already know they don't like. Like, this is bad. Even though, like, I'm having fun, people in chat are having fun. And to those people, I'm like, you know what? That's a good point. I'll tell you what. Why don't you come back tomorrow? So you give them a 24-hour timeout. Come back tomorrow. And maybe there's something you hear you'll like tomorrow. And if they come back the next day with the same thing, it's like, hey, come back tomorrow again. It's like instead of banning them, it's just like, no, listen, come back tomorrow, right? Go take a vacation, like take a day off, come back tomorrow.
I like that. That's funny. I might tell the mods to adopt that. They start bitching 24-hour time because they just added timed duration.
Yeah, they've added it recently, which is why I'm like, hey, dude, come back tomorrow. Okay, just tomorrow you come back and we'll talk again, and you can tell me how much you hate this game that I'm playing again. I can give you another timeout. It's a way to do it.
I do like that.
But yeah, it's been awesome. Lots more stuff coming in 2024, but that is probably going to be it for this podcast. Unless you have something else that you want to add. Or are you good?
No, I think I'm good. There's more to talk about, but like
you gotta go record more Final Fantasy VII. Yeah, I know. I don't want to keep
all the episodes. What do I do? I gotta figure out. But we'll have to talk after you've gotten through it about because I want to get up to the end. I want to see how things change.
Well, hell, I want to do that too.
I know. So after you get through, we'll touch base.
We got to have a post-mortem about it. Yeah, it'll be fun. But yeah, for now, team, this is going to be it. There's going to be a link to Cowboy stuff in the description down below. Thank you all very much for hanging out with us. We'll see you guys in the next one. Strong. Stay safe. Peace out.